Like if I got a dookie and I can make it home, or I think I can make it home, I'm probably just gonna go home, bro. I don't wanna be ripping ass, dropping fucking dukes in the toilet, and there's a bunch of people around there, and you gotta put toilet paper down on the seat. Like I would, if I can hold it, I'll just go at home. Alrighty then. Welcome back to another episode of the Mr. Blackman Show. We've been on a bit of a hiatus just because of the holiday season and whatnot. And so that kind of calls for a little bit of quality time. Got to take some time off during the holidays, which was nice. My kids were pretty little, but this was kind of the first year that we did our own little Christmas, Christmas morning, open up the presents. It was really nice. I had a great time. I had 5 days off of work, and my kids seem to really enjoy their Christmas, and I'm looking forward to next year. Anyways, I had this story time kind of planned out already, but I decided to change my mind at the last minute because I just felt like the story I had was dry as fuck. And I think this is a lot more interesting. So I'm just going, fuck it, we're doing it live. We're doing it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. All right? So, as you know, I work at a barber shop in a small, primarily white, conservative Christian town located in the heart of the Bible Belt. So, as you can already see, I hear a lot of interesting fucking shit at work. My God. From racist shit to transphobic shit, homophobic shit, misogynistic shit. It's wild. There's about one, two, three, about four guys I'll probably talk about briefly. I won't mention any names because two of the four guys are actually pretty chillin' guys. They're pretty chillin' guys. They're just quite ignorant. They're well read, but they're reading the wrong shit. And depending on who you are, you might agree with them, but most likely, if you have half a brain, you'll see exactly why we're talking about these motherfuckers today. But you'd be surprised how many times I have to hear the fucking N word from white folks at work. Like they have no idea that it's just not okay to say nigga if you're not black. Not everybody likes that. Not all black people like that. I know a lot of black people that don't say nigga. So it's kind of a bit of a weird kind of gray area for just that word in general. I grew up saying it. I grew up, both my parents are black, mixed, obviously, and pretty much my entire family is mixed. So that word is just kind of used. But I do have some family members who don't use it. Anyways, the first story I want to bring up is we had one guy come in. He's a regular of mine, which I think is crazy. This just goes to show you the ignorance, right? Like, just doesn't know the shit that he says is unacceptable. But I have a regular, I won't say his name, but white guy, long hair, farm boy type of shit. So we get to talking about podcasts. And obviously, if you are a podcast lover, you have at one point in time stumbled across the Joe Rogan podcast. Great podcast, great guy, great at what he does, very interesting to listen to. But at the time, that was when he got in a little bit of shit because somebody went into the archives and found out all the clips of him saying nigga. Well, I'm pretty sure he said nigger, which even makes me feel uncomfortable to say, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it was about 13 or so times that he dropped the fucking hard R. And it was a long time ago. And I think if you're an actual fan of Joe Rogan, you'll understand that, or you also probably believe that he's not racist. I don't think he's racist. you'd have a hard time convincing me that that he is racist. I think at one point in time he was just very ignorant when it came to that word. And so they mashed up the clip, put it all together, and it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. But anyways, this was right after that happened, like a day or so after he did his apology video, which I thought he explained himself very well. He apologized. He seemed very serious about it, and that was that. So that got brought up. I can't remember if I brought it up or if he did, but I'm cutting his hair, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't even know why he apologized for that," and I'm like, my guy, what? So I'm trying to be nice, right? In my best customer service voice, I go, well, some black people, including myself, don't feel like white people or anyone who isn't black should say the word at all. And he goes, oh, well, they just took it all out of context. He was just either quoting lyrics or, telling a story, blah, 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 whatever the fuck he said. And I go to reiterate and I say, well, most black people, including myself, don't believe there is any proper context to say the N-word at all. And he goes, yeah, bruh. And, he just kind of blew it off. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm finishing this haircut as quickly as possible because you can go fuck yourself. He's an ugly motherfucker anyways. And I think he just wears a hat all day, every day, no matter what. So I was like, you know what, fuck you. I'm just gonna snip, 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 hack and slash, get this shit the fuck over with, get this motherfucker out of my chair. I wasn't rude to him in any way. I tried to kind of explain a little bit. He wasn't getting it. I was like, I know, I'm not your teacher. I'm just your barber. So for me, I did not decide to take it upon myself to educate this man because I got better things to do with my time. And that was it. He's he's been back like 3 more times since then, and I just try to keep the conversation very light, very, seasonally related, weather related, and obviously hair related. And since then, there's been other barbers there with me, and he's already kind of a quiet guy as is, and pretty fucking weird, I'm not gonna lie, like awkward. I'm a pretty outgoing guy. I could talk to anybody, and when you make me feel awkward and uncomfortable, you're weird, my boy. You have to be weird. I could talk to anybody. It's literally my fucking job, right? Anyways, that's that guy. The next guy, and we're gonna work our way up. The next guy, another regular, he's in every week, this guy. He makes good money, drives a fancy car. He's got an iced out rollie on his wrist. White guy. When he comes in, he always has some Tate-esque fucking red pill Sigma shit to say. And regardless of how you feel about all of that, maybe you're an 80-20 with Tate. Maybe 80% of the stuff he says you think isn't so bad, and there's 20% where you're like, my God, bro, and you like harshly, whatever it may be. Yeah, he believes in it 100%, and he stays in that 20 to 30% that we all, don't believe and disagree with. He lives there. If you're following me right now, if that makes sense. And this guy is also fucking ignorant and has said the N-word multiple times, and I've had to ask him to stop saying it. Anyways, the new thing for him is he decided to come in and say that climate change isn't real because we've had an exceptionally cold winter for this area, like probably one of the coldest winters that I've ever experienced. So that is his reasoning for global warming being a complete hoax. And I go, well, they've kind of leaned away from the term global warming and have now kind of coined it climate change because, yeah, things are warming up, but it's kind of fucking up everything, right? Like our summer out here didn't start until like mid-July. We had shit weather until mid-July, and then mid-July to August, it was like 40 fucking degrees Celsius, which it never is here. Never have I ever seen temperatures that high here. And then summer lasted until like fucking Halloween. And then it got colder, and usually it rains like a motherfucker here, and it like just didn't rain for months. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm no scientist, and I'm a self-proclaimed idiot, and I don't really know much about shit. But yeah, over the last few years there's been heat domes. Like in our heat dome this summer, like 700 people died. That's how hot it was. One of our other guys, Ben, good friend of mine, he lays out facts for the guy, and then phone comes up, tunes out, and as soon as something else is said that he feels like he can jump in, he jumps in. And I don't know how the fuck it went from climate change to NASA, but all of a sudden he's like, yeah, NASA's not real. Like the organization NASA isn't real, and the moon landing isn't real. Which, say what you want about the moon landing, I feel like that's probably one of the pretty cool conspiracy theories. But I do believe that they went to the moon for sure. Either way, NASA organization is a real thing. Like, and so Ben is cheesed at this point. I left to go eat something, and then I came back, and they're like arguing, bro. They're going at it, and then he leaves, and Ben is choked for the rest of the day. So that was that. I mean, no shade to him because he's not a bad guy. He's just a very ignorant guy. The first guy can get fucked. I don't give a shit about the first guy. Second guy's not so bad. Third guy, this guy is actually hilarious. All right, he's this big, like 6'2", 250, with a 24-inch neck, fucking Italian guy, right? And he's hilarious. He makes me laugh every single time he's in the shop. 50% of the shit he says makes sense, and the other 50% of the shit, I'm like, my God. He's not my client, so I just see him every now and again. Big Italian guy is in the chair on the other side of the shop. But the thing about Big Italian guy is he has this big, deep, booming fucking voice that you're just kind of at the mercy of whatever he says. And if you try to argue with him, he somehow gets louder. And I don't know if you've ever heard somebody with such a booming voice that you can feel it physically fill up the room. Like it's crazy. I don't know if that makes sense, but it physically fills the entire room. You can't get a word in edgewise unless you're just kind of making little comments here and there or agreeing with the nigga. And I'm talking about how I'm gonna work Christmas Eve, half day, and charge like a premium. And he's telling me, you know what? Your kids are little. Just be home. You can make that extra $600-700 anytime, right? You only have a few Christmases with your kids, doing the whole Santa Claus thing, where they're actually engaged and involved. I'm like, yeah, fair. You know what? I never thought you, of all people, would convince me to do anything other than the opposite of what you say. But yeah, you know what? You're fucking right. He starts talking about the importance of a father being around, and is saying, statistics about how kids who grow up with their father just tend to do better in life. They tend to achieve more, be, healthier, happier. It's just a better situation for children in general. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't disagree with that. And then he goes, because if your father is not around, you'll have some older weird guy, some older weird gay guy groom your son into being gay. What the fuck? What does that even mean? What the fuck, bro? And kind of goes on, he just kind of reiterates that point, explains it slightly deeper, but basically just kind of repeats it in a couple of different ways. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? People are born gay, all right? And if you think differently, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I was just like, it was like one of those situations where it's like, you had me in the first half, right? Because he was saying things that I agreed with in the first half of the conversation. Yeah. So we quickly had to steer the conversation to something else. I can't even remember who said what. But like I said, this guy fills up the entire fucking room. So it's damn near impossible to even talk to anybody else about anything. So you just have to get him to talk about something else. And I think just the lack of response that he got from all three of us that were there that day, the conversation quickly went somewhere else. Bada bing, bada boom. Right before he left, he made us laugh a couple of times, and then he was gone. Haven't seen him since. I know I will, but this one probably takes the cake. This guy, he's only ever been in once, and I hope he never comes back. Because, he sits down in the chair. He was one of them chubbier white guys that's around my age but looks much older than me. He's talking about okay, so what I was talking about is, I don't know, I just kind of shoot the shit. I say a lot of random shit, obviously, as you know. Social media got brought up, and then I mentioned something about how people are much more sensitive these days. And then he slowly but progressively got overtly transphobic. All right. And I'll tell you what went down. So we started talking about how people are more sensitive. It seems that, every day at all hours of the day, somebody is offended about something. And then he started talking about how it seems like everyone at his daughter's middle school seems to be either gay or trans. And I'm kind of like, oh no, I don't know where this is going. And then obviously, he starts talking about the bathrooms, the men's and women's bathroom, how he doesn't feel like it's okay for anybody else to go in any other bathroom that they weren't the gender that they weren't born into. He doesn't agree with gender neutral bathrooms, which is fucking stupid, especially at a middle school with 11 to 13-year-olds, like children. And then I guess there's a trans kid maybe in his daughter's class or something like that. So this is why he probably was speaking with so much conviction. But he goes, yeah, the day one of them goes into the bathroom when my daughter's in there is the day I go to jail for murder. And there's other people in the fucking shop. Like, he said that like I was gonna be like, yeah, let's kill an 11-year-old because of the bathroom that they used. Like, no, nobody's gonna agree with you on that shit, bro. Go to your fucking clan meeting and go talk about that shit, my guy. Like, what? And then here I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, first of all, most people don't enjoy using a public washroom when they have to sit down on the toilet, period. For hygiene reasons, for just the fact that there's other people in there. It's an uncomfortable situation for a lot of people. Like, if I got a dookie and I can make it home, or I think I can make it home, I'm probably just gonna go home, bro. I don't wanna be ripping ass, dropping fucking dukes in the toilet, and there's a bunch of people around there, and you got to put toilet paper down on the seat. Like, if I can hold it, I'll just go at home. If I can, I can't, so be it. But so already I'm like, bruh, it's already an uncomfortable situation for the average person to take a shit in a public washroom or sit down in a public washroom. Middle schools are full of anxiety. Middle schools, high schools, full of anxiety, teen, preteen angst. Like, it's probably harder for somebody in middle school, high school, even more uncomfortable than an adult, right? But let alone a young person, 11 or 12 years old, using the the girls' bathroom when they had spent their life up until that point as a boy. So it's probably really difficult and uncomfortable for them to then transition into using the bathroom that they feel more comfortable with and that identifies with how they identify. At 11 or 12 years old, for anybody, that's probably really tough, but especially for a child probably doing it for the first time. And you're gonna kill a kid because they had to take a shit. What the fuck is wrong with you, my guy? And I wish I knew this guy's name because I would say his name because fuck this guy. Fuck this guy, bro. Said it out loud for everybody to hear. It's like, bro, what? Chances are, with everything that I just said, chances are that they just have to use the bathroom, bro. There can't be any other reason. They're 11. He told me his daughter was in sixth grade, so that's 11 or 12 years old. This kid is 11 years old and has to take a shit or a piss. You're gonna have a issue with a child doing a number one or a number two. You're that transphobic? Go fuck yourself. Anyways, I understand that there's a lot of ignorant people and there's a lot of bullshit that we probably all hear, but that one took the cake for me. Anyways, I hope he never comes in. If he does, I'm fucking up his hair for sure. I would never do that to anybody else, but I feel like he deserves it. Or maybe like shave a dick into the back of his head or something. And that's just some of the shit I hear at the shop. I don't hear that type of shit very often, but a little too often, if you know what I mean. That is it for me. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Mr. Blackman Show. I'm your host, Jordan Blackman. I will be back on my weekly schedules every Monday. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram at JBJordanMusic. And obviously, I would love it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Mr. Blackman Show. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Peace.